Hey, good morning. I wanted to just pop in and do another makeup tutorial for you. And this is with VRAI Makeup, and VRAI stands for truth. So this company is really one of the reasons that I love it is because every ingredient of every product, you can find out why she chose it, if it has any controversy associated with it, and why it is safe even if there's a controversy associated with it. And it's all explained under the, I think it's called VRAI IQ part of the website. So if you've got any questions about any of the products, I can help you find why she chose it and why it's safe. This makeup surpasses all of the European standards. It's way surpassing any standards in the United States as far as safety and efficacy goes for toxins. So I'm loving this. This product. So today we're going to do another basic face tutorial, and I think what we're going to do today is we're going to use just the bronzer, and I'm going to show you how you can just do everything with the bronzer and foundation. So as I said before, I would usually start with the veil because it fills in the fine lines and wrinkles. It sits on top of your face. It doesn't sink in to the skin. It stays on top of your face and fills in those fine lines and wrinkles and creates a like an airbrushed look. But I am not doing this right now because I'm doing a 90-day challenge with just the new Apple Stem Cell foundation, because it's got the hyaluronic acid and the apple stem cells in it. And so I'm doing the 90-day challenge to see just how this affects my face by itself. So we're going to start with just the foundation after I do the eye primer on my eye. And like I said yesterday, this is the magic that makes your eye makeup stay put. If you're using natural makeup at all that doesn't have all of the preservatives and all of that stuff in it, you've got to have something like this to hold it in place, or it will just end up raccoon eyes in just a few hours, because it's wax based, and so that gets soft and it tends to move if you don't have something like this to keep it in place. So this absorbs the excess sebum, and you're going to turn it upside down and pound it kind of hard on a hard surface. And what that does is it fills the little sling inside with just the right amount for one usage. And so you're going to divide this in half and do both eyes. And like I said yesterday, I use a lot on my brush, and I'm going to kind of half use the mirror and half use the phone and get my whole eyelid. And I'm going to fill my brush up again, do the other eye. Then you're also going to get the middle right up against your nose. And then you're going to go underneath your eye as well. And that pretty much uses all of it. There's a little bit left in the corner. I think I'm going to go ahead and get the corners of my eye just a little bit better. And that uses it all. And now I'm going to move on to my foundation. I am a Cool 2, if you're wondering. And so this is really cool because it has the sifter that can open and close. So when you're traveling, be sure you close that so you don't lose any product. And so I'm just going to turn it upside down, tap it into the lid. I'm going to use my black foundation brush that matches the lid. With VRAI, it's color coordinated, so you know what brush to use. And it also actually says foundation brush on the brush, makes it super easy. And with this powder foundation, it is a powder to cream. And when we were taught how to do mineral foundation previously, we would do just fast little circles. But with the powder to cream, you're actually going to be a little bit more intentional with where you're putting it and how you're putting it. And go a little bit slower so you're not losing product. And just, this is a buildable foundation, so you can do as many layers as you want to get the look that you want. This is just a basic look today. We're gonna talk about a few things today that we didn't talk about yesterday, but the foundation I'm just gonna leave pretty light. I still have some left in my lid that I'm gonna just put back in here, so I'm not wasting any, and it'll come out tomorrow when I do my makeup tomorrow. I am a firm believer that you do your makeup just for you. You do it like you want to make yourself feel good, and there's really no rules that you have to follow in my opinion with makeup. If you like it and it makes you happy, that's what you need to do. I'm drinking my breakfast coffee while we're working together. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my bronzer palette, and without my glasses, I don't know if I can read it. It is called Meet Me in Saint-Tropez. And I'm going to start with actually the middle color, and I'm going to use the brush that's called Warmth. It's actually a foundation brush. It's the exact same brush as the foundation brush. And I'm going to take a little bit of the middle color, and I'm just going to warm my cheek up a little bit with this. I'm kind of staying toward the middle of my eye and up with it. I'm not coming down any further than the middle of my eye, because that kind of brings your whole face down. So I'm going to stay up so that I want my face to be pulled up. I'm going to warm up my neck. And then I'm just going to warm up my T-zone there. Okay. I'm going back and forth between the phone and my mirror. So that's just a little bit of a warm up, okay? Just kind of put a little bit of color in there. Now I'm going to take the contour brush, and it's actually called Contour on the brush. Where's the word at? Called Contour on the brush, and again it matches the palette. Now I'm going to go to the dark color, and I'm going to start at my ear and go down just on the very edge of thy cheekbone, not down in the valley that you would normally do if you were 20. That's where I would aim. But now that I'm 60, I'm going to go above it, because we want everything to lift a little bit. So I'm just going to go from my ear down just a smidge. I didn't get very much on my brush. There you go. Gonna do the same thing on the other side. Like I said, I'm just right on that bone, not in the valley. And now I'm gonna go on my jowl line. I'm gonna cover that up a little bit. Do this side as well. You can see what I'm doing. And then I'm gonna go right underneath my chin. This is the double chin trick with a little V. This trick actually works the best with contour, but it also helps with the bronzer. You can see my V and my jowl there. And then if I didn't have bangs, I would do this every day. Normally this doesn't show when my bangs are down, but I'll just show you this is where I would go with the bronzer. So some people would teach you to do like a 3, and that's kind of what I did. I just did 3 separate places, but you can kind of see how it makes a 3 or an E, so you can kind of remember that as well. So the last thing I'm gonna do with the bronzer right now is with the highlight. And then I'm gonna show you a couple more little tricks if you're just using the bronzer. So with the highlight, I'm just gonna hit my, right underneath the outside edge of my eyebrows, and that just helps pick up the light and gives you that lifted look. I'm also going to get right at my temple and go up at an angle, which also gets the light and gives you a little bit of a lifted look. And then my nose and the middle of my chin gives you a nice moisturized, glowy look. I'm also going to do right on the inside edges of my eyes, which again is going to hit the light. My lighting at my makeup table is not very good, so sometimes I have to kind of move my head around and make sure I've gotten it all in the right places. So now I'm gonna smooth that all in with my blending brush, which actually says blend on it. And we're just gonna blend up and then down on my neck so that we don't have any stark lines and it looks natural. But the shading is still there, so it's still doing its job. And then on this side, we're gonna go up again. And we're just gonna make sure everything's blended real nice, so there's no stark lines. So there is just a natural look with just bronzer and nothing else. Now, if you wanted a little more color on your cheeks, you can either go ahead and add a blush if you want, or you can go back in with your warmth brush and the middle tone again and add a little bit more color if you want. Totally up to you. There's just a little bit more color. Another trick I like to do is to take the eyeshadow, one of the eyeshadow brushes, and I'm gonna go in with the dark color, and I'm gonna do a little bit of eyeshadow. Now with hooded eyes, you've gotta do it with your eyes open, not closed, because if you do it right in the crease where you used to do it when you were 20, your eyeshadow, I'll just show you, your eyeshadow is just gonna disappear. This is where my 20-year-old crease was. And when I open my eye, you can't even tell that there's anything there. The hood just completely covers it up. So when you're 60, you have to do your eyeshadow with your eyes open, and you're gonna go above the crease and just back and forth. And then I'm actually going to take this bronzer out and up right at the temple just a little bit. And I'll show you why in a second when we blend that in. So it's almost like a, oh, what is the name of it? Inye, I think is what that's called. When you use that little character when you're typing in Spanish, like señor, it goes above the N. That's kind of the shape you're making. And then when we blend it in, it's gonna give you a little bit of a lift. I'm gonna go ahead and go out of order here and just blend it up and let you see what that looks like. Just a little bit of a lift. Can you see that? Might not show in the camera as well as I can see it in the mirror. But there is a little bit of a lift there. But it looks like it's just a shadow. So there's just a little bit of color there. And then you can take this brush as well and go right underneath the outside edge of your eye if you want to. So there's a very natural look. Now, if you want to add some eye definition, which I always do, today, since we're going with bronzer, I thought I would show you also the eyebrow definer. And I like to use the dark eyebrow definer sometimes as an eyeliner because it's brown. And so since we're doing bronzer today, I just thought this is a good day to show you this. And so we're gonna use the darkest eyebrow definer as an eyeliner, and I'm just gonna do a tight line. Now it is a felt tip. Let's see if I can get it in the camera here. It does felt tip, so you're gonna make that angle go on your eye the right direction, okay? So can you see that angle? So I'm gonna make that angle go the right direction like this, right on my eye. And do kind of a tight line. Now you can stop it right there. You can see the difference between the two eyes. Or you can go ahead and do a little flicky wing. There's just a little flick of a wing. You can also come in, turn your tip so that it's facing the right direction. And you can go right on the outside edge of your eye like you do with the other little pen. A little flick didn't flick very well. So there is brown. And I'm gonna do the other eye. Tight line. You could do a fatter line if you wanted to. So here is a wing. Here is no wing. Just stopping at the edge of the eye versus a little wing. You can see how that just kind of gives you a little bit more lift. That's kind of why I like the little flicky wings. It just kind of lifts everything just a little bit more. So I'm gonna go ahead and flick this a little bit so my eyes match. Make sure they're the same size. This one just is not flicking very well. There we go, that did it. Okay, and then underneath just a little bit. So there is the brown as the eyeshadow. And then VRAI has black or brown mascara. This is the brown, this is the black. The black has the logo, and my brown does not because it was the prototype brown. I don't know if the brown that is currently for sale has the logo on it or not. I'm assuming it probably does, but mine, and I had to put a label on mine so I could tell the difference. So I'm gonna go ahead and just use the brown mascara. Now, we all tend to do this, and we're not supposed to do that because that introduces air into it. So the proper way to do mascara is slowly, and you're twisting it more than you're raising it up and down. And as I showed you yesterday, I blink my mascara on. And it helps it get to the root of the eyelashes, but it also just tends to be what I do automatically anyway. And I like mascara on the bottom. You don't necessarily have to do mascara on the bottom. The other eye I will stop before I get to the bottom, and I'll show you what it looks like without the mascara so you can see the difference. Now you can tell that this is brown. It's not nearly as dark as the black was yesterday, so it's a more natural, subtle look. So there's one finished eye. So we'll go over here and do just the top and let you see the difference. And again, this is a buildable mascara, so you can do more than one coat. If you prefer the brown color, but you want more of a dramatic look, you can do 2 or 3 coats and get that. Oh, and I just goobered right there, so I'm gonna take my handy dandy Q-tip. And you gotta move kind of quick before it dries, or it's not gonna clean up very easy. Okay, so here's the difference between mascara on the bottom and no mascara on the bottom. So you can decide if you like the mascara on the bottom look or the no mascara on the bottom. I'm gonna go ahead and add mascara so that my eyes match. And again, I goobered. This is real life. So when you mess up, you guys gotta fix it. All right. Now, if I had taken too much of the foundation off away from under my eye, I would just go ahead and repair it. And you can usually just use your brush, and without adding any more onto it, you should be able to just smooth it out like that. Now, if you've gotten anything too dark and you're like, ooh, I'm not going out in public like that, you can always go back with your foundation and just touch it up and smooth it out and lighten up whatever you think you got too dark. So this is pretty much what I would call a finished look with just the bronzer, except that I don't like completely naked lips. So I always add some color. And VRAI doesn't have lipstick yet, but they have the lip plumper. So let me show you. This is a nice, it's called Rose Gold. And the way this works is you're gonna, when you first get it, you're gonna have to click it like 6 or 7 times to get it to the top. But once you've got it primed and to the top, then 3 clicks is about right. And I'll just show you what just the lip plumper looks like by itself. So there's just the lip plumper. I have a little bit of liner residue from yesterday's lipstick. If you look real close, you can see on my upper lip. But hi, Beth Ann, thanks for joining. But this is the lip plumper. It's just very, very sheer, just a very light, light coloring. So that is just bronzer for everything. That's all I used was just bronzer. And then I used the eyebrow definer as my liner and the bronzer as my eyeshadow. Now, one last thing we might want to do if you want to take the look up just a little bit, I'm going to use the spoolie, the eyebrow spoolie. I'm going to just make sure that my eyebrows are facing up, which just by itself gives you a little bit of a lift just without doing anything else other than making sure the eyebrows are going the right direction. The other thing you can do is take the color that matches your eyebrows the closest. So this is the lightest color. I used the darkest color. What did I do with it? Where did I put it? I used the darkest eyebrow definer as my eyeliner today, and I don't know where I put it. I laid it down somewhere. Here it is. I used the darkest color as my eyeliner today, but I'm going to use the lightest color and just show you how to do eyebrows real quick. So you're not going to press hard with this. Like I said, it's a felt tip. You're not going to press hard. You're really just aiming for the hairs that are already there. And I'm just going to define this eyebrow just a hair. I have a scar right in the middle because not this year, but last year I fell on the horrible sidewalks in Salt Lake City and cracked my eyebrow open and bled terribly. So that's just one coat. And then I'm going to take the spoolie again, wherever I put it, and I'm going to go over it again and just diffuse that color with the spoolie. You could also use a finger if you wanted to, but I like the spoolie. So there's the difference between a defined eyebrow and a not defined eyebrow. You can tell the difference. So let me make my eyebrows match here. And then I'll put my hair down and let you see the finished look. And it's just a real light hand. Like I said, you're not painting your skin. You're just filling in the hairs. And filling in the scars, if you've got a scar like I filled in my scar over here. All right, so there's a nice finished look for you. Take my hair down like I normally wear it. Put my glasses on so you can see. All right, so here is Robin, ready for the day. And this is just the bronzer, the lip plumper, the eyebrow definer, and that's all I use, the foundation. Okay, so there's a finished look. So I hope you have a good day. And tomorrow, I know this is kind of a weird time to be doing a live, but I figure most of you guys are watching it on replay anyway. Tomorrow, I'm going to do another weird time, and I will show you actually contour, the actual contour palette tomorrow, because I'm going out on a mother-daughter date. So tomorrow afternoon at some point when I'm getting ready for that, I will do my makeup live with you, and I'll use the contour palette tomorrow. So like I said, this is no blush today. This is all just the contour palette by itself. So hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye.